What's going on, Shake Squad? Your boy Joey Shake72 coming to you guys with a video right now. We're going to go over another day of training camp. A lot to talk about today. Obviously, this was a defensive day today, so the offense really didn't do much today. First live hitting practice, physical. So let's go start with the injuries of what's going on. Like I said, these are just very small injuries. All these guys will be back. This is just something they don't want to keep putting guys in, getting them hurt or whatever's going on. So you have Dallas Goedert is out with a hairline fracture in his thumb. He will be back next week. Okay, so I wouldn't even worry about that too much. Zach Ertz has an upper body day-to-day injury. He'll be back next week. Sidney Jones has a lower body injury. That's not good for his case because a lot of competition at that corner spot opposite of Darius Slay, the cornerback 2 spot, and it looks like Sidney Jones is going to be out for a few days or whatnot, but not really helping his case and what's going on because he really needs to be on the field. I mean, we're expecting him to do big things this year, or at least try to do big things this year, and, you know, this is his last chance. This is his last year as a Philadelphia Eagle. This is it. Like, I don't know if the Eagles will re-sign him again, try to give him another chance, but if he's not showing that he can at least stay on the field, at least during all the offseason, at least for training camp, I don't really know what to say about it whatsoever at all. So that's to really talk about that. Now, I want to talk about this defense. This defense did a really good job today, buried this offense today. I mean, it's got to be balanced out. You're going to have days where you don't want one side being always dominant every day at training camp. You have this defense that has done a good work. There was sack central today at the NovaCare complex, and Carson Wentz did not have an easy time today, which I'm actually happy about. I want this defense to have some swag this year. I want this defense to have, to throw some punches this year. So I want to go over just what happened at training camp for this defense. Now, Josh Sweat beat Andre Dillard a couple times today on an inside move, a lot of counter moves. Andre Dillard is the starting left tackle for the Eagles, okay? That is one question mark. We don't know. Like I said, when all this started, I said that Andre Dillard is going to have some issues in the beginning, and then you're going to have to wait until he gets those reps, and he'll be a very good left tackle. But the problem is he's got to get those reps in, and that's where it's going to be really important. Now, Fletcher Cox beat Matt Pryor for a sack today. Malik Jackson beat Isaac Samalo for a sack today. It's nice to see Malik Jackson is back, healthy. Big chip on his shoulder, had his press conference the other day, said he's got a big chip on his shoulder. He's ready to roll. He doesn't want anyone feeling bad for him. He's out for blood this year. So I'm happy about keeping Malik Jackson because I didn't think with signing Javon Hargrave, I didn't think Malik Jackson would be here, but very glad he is here till Javon Hargrave comes back. Malik Jackson will start at the other defensive tackle position next to Fletcher Cox. Now, Casey Toohill, undrafted defensive end, beat Jack Driscoll on the edge for a sack today. Hassan Ridgeway beat Sue Opita for a sack today. Jannard Avery really hasn't been seen on the field at all. He's kind of been very invisible on the field. I don't know what's going on with Jannard Avery. I don't know, maybe they're putting him at outside linebacker. Maybe they're trying him at more than one spot. I don't know. I know he's not the biggest guy, the most lengthy guy. He has been getting beat when he gets on the field, but Jannard Avery hasn't really been doing much of anything, so I don't know what's going to happen with this, but obviously it's still early, a few weeks left, so we'll see what happens with Jannard Avery. Now, Will Parks is another name, obviously, into the safety room with Jalen Mills, Rodney McLeod, Kevon Wallace, and a bunch, Rudy Ford, and a bunch of these other guys. Will Parks was definitely splitting the nickel position today with Roby Coleman. Jim Schwartz is going to love Will Parks' energy. He's got swag to him. He's a big trash talker. And when he was with Denver for 4 years, he moved all over the field. I mean, he moved everywhere. He played linebacker, inside, outside, cornerback positions, he had safety. He played everywhere, and I think Will Parks is one of the most underrated pieces going into the 2020 season. I think there's a lot to really look at there. So very excited to see Will Parks, a Philly native. Well, definitely welcome home, and can't wait to see what he does. Now, Duke Riley, that we picked up last year, is a linebacker. Him and Nathan Gary were in the first-team reps today. TJ Edwards was in first-team reps, but he was only in first-team reps because Duke Riley was out with an illness. Duke Riley came back today, and TJ Edwards sat out. So Duke Riley was just a guy from the Falcons, special teams guy. And do they see a lot in Duke Riley? I mean, this is very interesting just to see that. And Nathan Gary as well, because Nathan Gary has a lot of experience with this team. You could throw him to the fire. Is he the best coverage linebacker you've ever seen? No, probably not. But the guy switched from, was a safety in Nebraska and switched to a linebacker. And I think last year in 2019, Nathan Gary finally molded into that linebacker we all wanted him to be. I mean, he's not going to be a Pro Bowler. He's not going to be anything. I think in a system, as a role player in a defense, I think he works very well with a lot of guys. So there's a lot to really go with there. But Davion Taylor, haven't seen much from him at all. It's very disappointing. So we'll see what happens. But, I mean, a third-round pick should be at least being a role player for this team and do some work. But if Nathan Gary is already in there and they're getting Duke Riley, I mean, I like, Duke Riley. I don't know how old he is, but it's nice to see some new faces at that linebacker group. Like I said, it's a very young group, a very what-if, unproven group. We'll see what happens by the time being. Now, Brandon Graham has been raving about offensive tackle / guard Jack Driscoll that we drafted from Auburn. Brandon Graham said he notices a good offensive lineman when he goes up against him. He says that Jack Driscoll has a lot of potential, great hand placement, quick with his feet. So, I mean, that's good to hear from Brandon Graham that at least we're looking for depth at this O-line for the future and for years to come, and maybe a future starter soon. So, it'd be nice to see at least, Prince Tega or at least Jack Driscoll could fill one of those roles as a swing guard or a swing tackle. We haven't replaced Big V yet. Big V got a 5-year contract, with the Detroit Lions. Good for him. He deserved it, and that's going on with that. So, offensive line is so important, man, because all it takes is one injury, and the Eagles could be, if they don't have the depth in place at the time, Eagles could be in trouble. So we're going to see how these other guys do. Still have a few weeks left. Now, free safety Grayland Arnold from Baylor, made plays. Didn't make plays, wasn't really a ball hawk today, but showed that his presence was felt. Very physical player. He tackled, I think, Adrian Killens. He's very quick. Tackled Adrian Killens, and I mean tackled him. I mean knocked him on the ground, but pretty much almost knocked him out twice. But very physical, and I'm glad to see that. Why Grayland Arnold came here because the Eagles needed a ball hawk, and they like guys that are always around the ball, and Grayland Arnold is always around the ball. He was always around the ball in Baylor, and did a really good job getting his hands on the football, whether it was a pick or he was just deflecting the ball or whatever. But it's nice to see that a young guy coming in here, especially at safety, even though we're pretty much deep at safety right now. Grayland Arnold has played corner. He played corner his first year at Baylor as a freshman and then went to free safety after that. So a lot of corners with safety background, a lot of safety with corner background. I like that. That's what Jim Schwartz likes, to move pieces around, which a lot of guys will be moving around. So Grayland Arnold, it's nice to hear some news. Some news on him coming into this. So Rodney McLeod had an interception going right through his hands today. Jumped the route and did a good job. Didn't tell me who he jumped in front of, but said he almost got a pick today. But Rodney McLeod needs to be a vocal leader this year. He needs to get in the front and do some work this year. He didn't have a good year last year. He hasn't. And with Malcolm not here now, he's got to step up. His game has definitely got to step up. So looking forward to that as well. Now I want to go over Jason Peters. So Jason Peters, we got a little look at him playing right guard today. Not bad at all, I think, with Jason Peters. He's got good hand placement. From what everyone's seeing, he's got good hand placement. They're saying his feet maybe are a second slow. His feet are kind of a little slow. But I can't even really go on that because we just started like hitting each other pretty much. But there'll be no doubt in my mind he'll be ready by first game against the Washington football team. He did like a half day today, so he pretty much played for a bit, and then Matt Pryor came in for him. for a while. So good things there, not bad. So I'm not expecting too much from Jason Peters. Like, this is, like I said, first day of hitting, nothing crazy today. So, you know, we just keep going on with this offensive line because there's so much we could talk about with them. So Jason Peters, I'm talking about Jason Peters. He was beat by Malik Jackson today. Malik Jackson was a lot lower than Jason Peters coming off the line, and he got beat. He got pushed back into the pocket. Didn't get a sack, but he was pushed back into the pocket like pretty crazy. So I'm glad, like I said, talked about Malik Jackson before, but glad that he's really going all in for 2020, and I hope he's a force to be reckoned with this year. I'm very excited. Let's see. Now, Joe Osman on this defense as well had a pair of sacks today, beating Jordan Mailata again. And this was pretty much the same thing like last year. I mean, Howie Roseman talked a lot of good things about Joe Osman. Think he could have been a big role player for this team for the defensive line last year, but unfortunately he had a torn ACL. Last camp last year in 2019, he was wrecking Jordan Mailata pretty much all of camp. I mean, just crazy. And he's doing the same thing today. So hopefully Joe Osman, I don't know what he's got in the tank or, you know, what he's going to bring to the table to this defensive line, but Howie spoke really highly of him, and a lot of guys are liking him a lot. A really good locker room guy, and is always very active on training camp days. So it'd be nice to have him for game day and see what he could really do. Obviously, no preseason games, so nothing crazy today. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Nothing really much. The defense won the day today. Just Hassan Ridgeway and Fletcher Cox, Malik Jackson, Brandon Graham. This defensive line took it to this offense today. Our offensive line didn't do a good job. Obviously, there's a lot of, it's the first day of hitting, so you're going to expect guys screwing up. This is what happens all the time, every year. And it's a nice balance because I think our offense has had most of the days. Our defense maybe had one day out of this padded training camp, and now the defense gets another day today with the secondary. I heard that Sean Bradley, Kevon Wallace were all over the field making tackles today, doing a really good job. They're showing how fast they are and taking their angles on making tackles, not missing tackles, and doing a good job there. So I'm very happy with that. So the Eagles are going to be off tomorrow, so there will be no video of training camp there, but there'll be a video tomorrow on something else. I have a few things on my mind right now. So no training camp for the Eagles tomorrow. They will start Sunday. And that's pretty much it. So if you guys enjoyed, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't. And that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys later. Shake Squad up. Fly, fly. Peace. Peace out, guys.